Yep.
Creepypastas. Since the beginning of the internet, horror stories have existed between campfires and sometimes in the Boy Scout troops. But we don't talk about those because those are kind of shit. But with the age of the internet, telling stories of horror and intrigue and fear have always been a staple for the truly disturbing. With the rise of Slender Man and Jeff the Killer, the internet had embraced creepypasta culture. But that doesn't mean that everyone is going to be an instant hit like the Slender Man. But we don't talk about his very shitty movie by Sony. Today, surrounding on the campfire in, well, what I could say is the middle of the void, the people of the By the Way podcast on the 1st of April will descend into some of the worst creepypastas, giving their own interpretations of some of the most legendary stories. Welcome to the By the Way podcast April Fool's video.
Can you lot still hear me as I am reading this tale? Good, good. We can begin. Alright then. Rice shower, Myuu, and a pretty accurate representation of Ox's last avatar on this podcast. I'm going to read to every single one of you a tale of Sonic.exe. Now, a total Sonic the Hedgehog fan, much like everyone else. I like the newer games, but I don't mind playing the classics. I don't think I've ever played glitchy or hack games before, though I don't think I want to play any after the experience I had. It started on a nice summer afternoon. I was playing Sonic Unleashed. I liked how you could get to explore towns in it, until I noticed, out of my peripheral vision, that the mailman Postman Pat had arrived and put something in my postbox. As usual, left. I paused my game, go see what I got in the mail. The only thing in the postbox was a CD case for computers and a note. I took it inside. I looked at the note first and realized it was from my dear friend Kyle. Yes, let's just call it that. Or maybe Crotchy would be much more appropriate.
Do it.
I hadn't heard in 2 weeks. I know that because I recognize his handwriting. It was weird, is how it looked. It looked badly written and scratchy and somewhat difficult to read. Fuck it. As if Crotchy was having a hard time writing it down and did it in a hurry. Talking about a fast sack. This is what he wrote. Dude, I can't take it. I can't take it anymore. I had to get rid of this thing somehow before it was too late. And I was hoping you could do it for me. I can't do it. He's after me. And if you don't destroy this CD... No, wait, I've got to fucking read this again.
Wait, I could read it. I could read it. We could.
No. Oh. I can't take it anymore. I had to get rid of this thing somehow before it was too late. And I was hoping you could do it for me. I can't do it. He's after me. And if you don't destroy this CD, he'll come after you too. He's too fast for me. Please, dude, destroy this godforsaken disc before he comes after you too. To me. Destroy the disc, and you'll destroy him. But do it quick, otherwise he'll catch you. Don't even play the game. It's what he wants. Just destroy it, please. Crash.
He changes the avatar again.
Bro.
Well, that was certainly weird. Certainly weird, unironically speaking. Even though Crotch is my best friend, and I haven't seen him in 2 weeks, I did do what he asked me. I didn't think that a simple gaming disc would do anything bad to him. After all, it's just a game, right? Boy, was I wrong about that. Anyway, I looked at the disc and it looks like any ordinary computer CD-R disc, except it had black marker written on it. Written Sonic.exe, and it was much unlike Crotchy's handwriting, meaning that he must have gotten it from someone else, like a pawn shop or eBay, or maybe probably nicked it from Larry's crib. When I saw Sonic on the writing of the CD, I was actually excited and wanted to play it, since I'm a big Sonic fan. I went up to my room and turned on my computer and put the disc in and installed the game. I'd be quite foolish. When the screen popped up, I noticed that it was the first Sonic game. And I was like, awesome! Because I said earlier, I like the classics. The first thing I noticed that was out of place was when I pressed start. There was a split second when I saw the title image turned into something much different. Something that I now consider horrifying, before cutting to black. This was not going to be such a crotchety day. I remember what the image looked like in that split second before the game cut to black. The sky had darkened, the title emblem was rusted and ruined. The Sega 1991 logo was now instead Sega 666, and the water had turned red, like blood, except it looked hyper-realistic. Oh yes, great Iron Maiden reference.
I'm gonna have to make an opening because
thing.
my mic didn't even pick up, by the way, at the beginning.
Oh, great.
But it's okay. I have something planned.
Oh, tits.
Continue your story.
It's whatever.
As I will, right shower. I regret nothing, but the freakiest thing that was in that split-second frame with Sonic. His eyes were pitch black and bleeding with 2 glowing red dots, staring right at me. And his smile had stretched wider up to the edge of his face. I was rather disturbed about that image when I saw it. But I figured that it was just a glitch, and forgot about it. Who cares if Sonic was being freaky, am I right?
Oh my god.
Anyway, after it cut to black, it stayed for about 10 seconds or so, and then another weird thing happened. The save file select from the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 popped up, and I was like, what the fuck? What is this doing in the first Sonic game? Oh, God. This was probably constructed by someone who really made a shitty Sonic fan game. Anyway, then I noticed something off. The background was dark, the cloudy sky of the Bad Stardust Speedway level from the Sonic CD, and there were only 3 save files. The music was that creepy Cabin Winter music from Earthbound, only it was extended. It seemed to have been in reverse. And the image from the save file where you see preview of the level you're on is just red static for all 3 files. What freaked me out even more was the character select. It showed only Tails, Knuckles, and to my surprise, Dr. Robotnik. Now I was sure that something was up. I mean, how can you play as Robotnik in a classic Sonic game, for crying out loud? I mean, whoever made this is not a bitch-ass motherfucker. That's when I realised that this wasn't a glitchy game. It was a hacked game. Yeah, it definitely looked hacked. It was really creepy. But as a smart gamer, I wasn't scared. Or at least I tried not to be. I told myself that it was a hacked game and there was nothing about that. Anyways, shaking off the creeped out feeling like I picked file number 1 and chose Tails when I selected and got started. The game froze for about 5 seconds. I heard a creepy pixelated laugh that sounded an awful lot like that Kefka guy from Final Fantasy. Cut into black. I'm just glad the bitch isn't here to see this. The screen stayed black for about 10 seconds or more. Then it showed the typical level title thing, except the simplistic shapes were different shades of red, and the text showed only kill. Act 1. The screen faded in, and the level title vanished, revealing Tails in the green hillside from Sonic 1. The music was different though. It sounded like a peaceful melody in Anyway, I started playing, and had Tails start running like you would in any of the classic Sonic games. What was odd was that as Tails was running along the level, there was nothing but flat ground and a few trees for 5 minutes. That was when the peaceful music started to lower down into slow, deep tones, very slowly as I kept going. I suddenly saw something and stopped to see what it was. It was one of the small animals laying dead on the ground, bleeding. That was when the music started to slow down. Tails had a shocked and sad look on his face that I had never seen before. So I had him move along, and he kept that worried look on his face. As someone posted Dr. Eggman's news to twitter.com, because he's sure let the animals down by this standard. So I had him move along, and he kept that worried look on his face. As he kept moving, I saw more dead animals as Tails moved past him, looking more and more worried as the music lowers and he moves past more dead animals. I was shocked to see how they all died. They looked like somebody killed them in rather gruesome ways. A squirrel was hanged on a tree with what appeared to be his entrails hanging out. A bunny had all 4 of his limbs, and a duck had its eyes gouged and its throat slit. I felt sick to my stomach when I saw this massacre, and apparently so did Tails. After a few more seconds, there were no more animals, and the music seemed to have stopped. I still kept Tails to continue. After a minute passed and the music stopped, Tails was running up a hill, and then he stopped. It wasn't until I saw why. Sonic was there on the other side of the screen, with his against Tails.
Will you fucking stop with that?
I can't help with the esophageal flatulence, for goodness sake.
No, the guy reading it, so anyway. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Anyway,
Tails with his eyes closed. Tails looked happy to see Sonic, but then his smile faltered, obviously noticing that Sonic wasn't responding to him. If not acting as if he was totally oblivious of Tails' presence. Tails walked slowly towards Sonic, and noticed that I wasn't even moving my keyboard to make him move. So this had to be a cutscene. Suddenly I began to have a growing feel of dread as Tails walked closer to Sonic to get his attention. I felt that Tails was in danger, and something bad was going to happen. I heard faint static growing louder as Tails was but inches away from Sonic and stopped and stuck his hand out to touch him. That foreboding feeling in my gut was growing stronger, and I felt the urge to tell Tails to get away from Sonic as the static grew louder. Suddenly, in a split second, I saw Sonic's eyes open, and they were black, with those red glowing dots, just like that title image. Thought there wasn't a smile. When that happened, the screen turned black, and then the static sound was abruptly cut off by Sonic suddenly uttering, "One!" It stayed black for about 7 seconds, and then white text appeared, following a message saying, "Hello, bitch! Do you want to play with me?"
I don't think that's what he said.
That's what he said. Are you asking?
At this point,
No.
I was creeped out. I didn't want to continue with the game, but my curiosity got the better of me when I was taken to a different level, with this level title now saying hide and seek. This time I was in the Angel Island level from Sonic 3, and it looked like everything was on fire. Tails looked as though he was scared out of his wits this time. He actually looked at me and made frantic gestures to me as if he wanted to get out of the area he was in as fast as possible. I was starting to get freaked out by this. I mean, Tails was actually breaking the fourth wall, trying to tell me to get him out of here. So I pressed down on the arrow key as hard as I could and made him run as fast as I could. Fast as he could. Whoops. A pixelated version of a creepy theme when you meet Shadow of the Ark as Robotnik from Sonic Adventure 2 was playing, as I made Tails trek through the desolate forest, trying to help him escape from whatever he was trying to run from. Suddenly, I heard that creepy laugh again. That awful Kefka laugh, if Reichauer could do the honors. Right after 10 seconds have passed, as I helped Tails run through the forest. And then I started seeing flashes of Sonic popping everywhere on the screen, again with those black and red eyes. The music changed to that suspenseful drowning jingle as I see Sonic behind Tails slowly gaining up on him. Flying. Sonic wasn't running, he was actually flying. The flying pose in its sprite was making it look very similar to Metal Sonic's flying pose in Sonic CD. Except Sonic, it was just Sonic, and he had the black and red eyes again. Only this, he had the most deranged looking grin on his face. He looked as though he was enjoying the torment he was giving the poor little fox as he gained up on him. "Watch out, Tails! Ah!" Suddenly, when Tails tripped, another cutscene.
Tails, you're gonna get grabbed by Sonic EXE! Ah!
Yes, thank you. Shh! The music stopped, and Sonic vanished. Tails lay there and started crying for 15 seconds. I couldn't believe that measurement was very accurate. It's unbelievable. The scene was rather upsetting to watch, and I kind of teared up myself. But then Sonic appeared right in front of us, and Tails looked up in horror. Blood started to come down those blackened eyes of Sonic's as a grin slowly grew from his face as he looked down at the horrified fox. I could just do nothing but watch. And just in a split second, Sonic lunged at Tails right at Tails right before the screen went blank. There was a loud screeching noise that only lasted 5 seconds. The text returned 5 seconds, and the screen was probably from slugs as well, and also featured in various other memes too. The text had returned, only this time it said, "You're too slow! Try again!" And then that god-awful laugh came with it, if Reichel could do the honors again.
He's dead. Nah, you do it.
Oh, never mind. Fuck it. You're too slow. No. The text returned only this time. It said, "You're too slow, want to try again?" And then that god fluff gave it off. You read this bollocks. I was so shocked by what had happened. Did Sonic murder Tails? No, he couldn't have. He and Tails are supposed to be best, right? Why did Sonic do that to him? I shook the shock off as I was brought back to the character select. Save file that had Tails was different. Tails was no longer in the box itself, but in the TV screen itself, which was flickering with that red static. Tails' expression scared me. His eyes were black and bleeding. His orange fur had gone black, and he had an expression of anguish on his face. Trying to ignore it, I picked Knuckles next. The laugh came again. The screen cut to black again and stayed there for another 10 seconds. This time the level said, "You can't run." I was really freaked out by now. I couldn't really tell if this was a glitch, or a hack, or some kind of sick, twisted choke. But it most likely fucking is. Nevertheless, or anything really, but despite my fear of what had happened, I kept playing. The next level looked much different. It had the ground of the scrap brain zone, but the sky background looked like the main menu. It had the dark reddish cloudy sky, but it was the music that creeped me out the most. It sounded like Geiger's theme right after the beast of Big Pokey and Earthbound. I also noticed that Knuckles looked afraid, just like Tails did. Though not as much, or rather he looked a little unnerved. He broke the fourth wall and looked as if he wasn't sure about going on. But I made him move anyway. Even though I'm not trying to be as sinister as I naturally intend. He ran down the straight pathway in this dark level. And as he did, the screen started to flicker, red static a couple of times, and then that maddening laugh came again. Then after a few seconds of running, I noticed several bloodstains on the metallic ground. I felt a growing sense of fear again, thinking something horrible was going to happen to Knuckles. Oh no! He looked nauseated, walking down this blood-stained road, but I still kept him going. Oh, the story's so frightening it's now having me choke and burp copiously.
Somehow.
Suddenly, as Knuckles ran, Sonic appeared right in front of him with those black and red eyes, and then red static appeared again when the static vanished, showing nothing but black screen with text saying, "Found you!" I was now scared. Sonic found Knuckles already? What was going on? Anyway, red static came again, and then I was back to the level. Knuckles looked like he was panicking, and Sonic was nowhere to be found. And this time, that high-pitched squealing from the Silent Hill 1's final boss was playing. Was this some kind of boss battle with Sonic? I hoped not, honestly, rather just a stupid horror fan game that some demented Sonic fan had created. Suddenly, Sonic appeared right behind Knuckles in what appeared to be pixelated black smoke. I made Knuckles turn and then punch Sonic, but Sonic vanished in black pixelated smoke before I could even land a hit. That terrible laugh went off again. Hardy ha ha, hardy ha. Then Sonic appeared behind Knuckles again, and then I made him punch again. And Sonic vanished again, laughing. Knuckles was panicking even more. And even I felt like I was going crazy. Sonic was practically playing with us. He was playing a sick, twisted little mind game with me and Knuckles. Another cutscene as Knuckled. Oh, yes. This is plural, by the way. I'm not making this up. As Knuckled, the plural echidna himself fell to his knees and clutched his head, sobbing. I felt his agony. Sonic was actually driving us both crazy. And then, in a split second, Sonic lunged at Knuckles, and then the screen went black with another distorted screeching noise that lasted for 3 seconds. Was Sonic doing something dodgy with his chili dog?
What?
What? What?
Another text message appears. So many souls to play with, so little time. And Woody? What the hell? Just what is going on? I started to think Sonic was actually trying to talk to me through the game.
Listen, I was too scared to think that.
I was brought back to the main menu, and this time the second firebox had Knuckles in the TV screen. His red fur had darkened to a reddish grey, his dreadlocks were dripping with blood, and his eyes were black and bleeding too. And he had a look of sadness on his face. I began to think that those are the actual characters trapped in those TV screens on the save files. But I couldn't believe it. Didn't want to believe it. His tits were only 1 polygon. So I shut off the game and took a break. I took a nap. I wish I hadn't, because I then began to have the most disturbing nightmare. I was in pitch black darkness. I was under the light given off by a lamp that hung high above my head. I could hear the cries of Knuckles and Tails nearby. They were saying stuff like, "Help us! Why did you give us to him? I can't believe I was thinking what you were going to do, but now making me realise it." Fuck it, I just don't know what. I'm trying to add some ridiculous Tails quotes to it. Advice of this. And also, Miss, can we be friends now? As Tails suddenly uttered, being suddenly oblivious to the fact that hide and seek or something. Well then, I might as well toss my Blue Yeti microphone out the window, or complain to my mother about the Wi-Fi, which I could do right now, but no. Their cries died out as I heard Sonic laugh. It sounded a lot like the distorted Kefka laugh that Ricehouse could do a good impression. You're a lot of fun to play with, kid. No, you're a lot of fun to play with, kid. Just like your friend Crotchy. Oh, the irony, him being ballsack, though. Let's just say that he didn't last long. I even nicked a doll from his store. I was scared.
Gotta kill fast.
Looking around for the source of the voice. Won't be long now until you join him and all my other friends. I saw him looking toward me, flickering in and out in several directions. You can't run, dude. You're in my world now. But souls, when he grabbed me, and I saw his bleeding black and red-eyed grinning face, I woke up with a fright. After a couple of hours, I decided to continue playing the game. After a bitch of a wife suddenly woke me up. She was a Trisha Daddy Demon Cow person. I don't know why, but I had to know.
I love Concon.
On the computer.
Sonic EXE is actually trying to kill him while he's reading Sonic EXE.
So true.
Stop downloading whatever you have in the
After a
background.
couple of fucking... After...
He's gone.
After
He's trying to yell at us, but it's just starting out. Trying to yell, but he
What?
can't.
Why even bother with this shite?
Tit.
Nice. All right, you're back.
You're back.
Gee.
Bro, you picked
After a couple
Hours, I decided to continue playing the game. I don't know why, but I had to know. I had to figure out why this was happening. And especially know what happened to my friend Proxy. I turned on the computer, turned the game, and selected Robotnik. I still thought that it was wacky playing as Robotnik. So anyway, the title appeared again, and this time, which I found freaky.
Which anyway.
James, you better have a burp counter.
It's like 3. That's burp number 3.
Which I found really freaky. Little did I know that... Oh, forget it, no foreshadowing. This time I was in some kind of hallway. Or actually, Mr. What it was in the same hall. Didn't really look like from any of the classic games, though it had a pixelated style. The floor was shiny and checkered. The walls were a dark greyish purple, much like Dandelion, with an animated candlelight and few dark bloodstains here and there. And there was a dark red curtain hanging above on the top part of the screen. Every 12 seconds or so, that red curtain sways very slowly. But whenever you're playing the game, you can barely see it move. The music was oddly pleasant, a piano playing a rather sad yet peaceful song, but I knew better. This was a song that was played in Hill Act 1. It wasn't in reverse. Robotnik didn't look entirely nervous like Tails and Knuckles did, but he did have a when I just left him stay. He turns his head to the left and then to the right, at least twice, and then shrugs at me. As if he has no idea where he was or what was going on. Even though I was scared out of my mind, about what was going to happen, I had Robotnik continue on forward. Continue on. He did his usual animation, you know, when you've beaten him at the end of a classic Sonic game, and you chase him, as we continued going through the hallway. Then I stopped a long flight of stairs leading downward. Now I was nervous. Even Robotnik seemed unsure of himself, though I pressed on forward. As I led Robotnik down the stairs, I noticed that the walls had gotten darker and more reddish. The red torches are now an eerie blue. Then we landed onto another hallway. This one was longer than the last one, or at least felt like it, and then we headed down a flight of stairs down. This one was much longer, it took at least 1 full minute. And then I heard that redundant but horrid Kefka laugh again, and I shall could do the honors, possibly maybe one time.
What's the most depressing?
As it did, the walls turned more dark red. Then the music slowly faded till it was quiet. The walls turned more dark red as the torches were a black flame now. When Robotnik landed onto the third hallway, I couldn't believe him. I was scared too. Suddenly, Sonic popped into...
Holy leg, bro.
It was allegedly no...
Easy guessing.
seconds, and then it showed me a most unpleasant bitch. It showed a hyper-realistic image of Sonic standing in where you can only see his face, while his head and torso faded into black. I mean, he looks so real you could actually see the lines in his blue fur, as if you could actually feel the fur if you touch the screen. His face, oh god, he had the most horrifying smile I had ever seen. And that's saying something considering I saw it. It's quite similar to Vince Desert firing me from running with scissors. That grin still terrifies me to say at the start of the game. His eyes are wide and black, and once again crying, which also looked hyper-realistic. There were two
Realistic.
mind. What the shit? His grin was wide and demonic. It literally stretched to the sides of his face like a Cheshire cat, except Sonic had fangs. Very
Could you
sharp
say-
fangs.
Would you say the smile was
Where-
demonic and punkish?
Vicious. Fuck off! Stupid thing. Vicious looking. Somewhat, and from the look of it, he had stains of blood and small bits of flesh on his. I stared at that
This
gruesome
should be called
image
the lag
for a
set.
good 30 seconds, never taking my eyes off it. I felt as if he was actually looking at me, smiling at me. It took 10 seconds for it to etch itself into my brain. This time, it sounded distorted, demonic even, but definitely not pun. If anyone dares to pull my leg, I will continue to post all of your nudes onto twitter.com, ironically.
Who posted my nudes on
It
Twitter.com?
went back to the image again. It went back to the image again. Except this time, there was the text again, though it was messed up. But it was pretty much one of the most things I'd ever looked at since I had this game. Miku Miku Bang! Hatsune Miku!
Say the actual line.
I'm gone.
I am God.
It was when I read that message while looking at Sonic when it hit me. I realized right there and then this Sonic was a monster. Pure evil, sadistic, powerful, nightmarish to bed. Including Tails, he murdered 5. Knuckles, who he possibly gave him chili dog up his arse. Robotnik,
Oh my
and
god.
definitely
Ew.
crotchy considering that he was perfectly castrated, are just his little toys. And the game is the very gateway to his chaotic, nightmarish world and the very hell his victims are trapped in. Much like me in Paradise Lost. Suddenly, in an actual split second, I screamed as Sonic lunged at the screen, screeching loudly with his mouth wide open to an unnatural length, revealing nothing but a literally spiraling abyss of pure darkness before red static came again. And hold on, I've got to really imitate this scene. I've really got to imitate this scene.
Gotta be fucking kidding me.
This time, much louder and distorted. So loud that it hurt my ears. I yelled and grabbed my ears as the red static screeched for a good 7 seconds. I now have tinnitus. Then, it stopped, and showed nothing but agony. As I sat there staring at the screen, one last text came up. Kefka laughs, now sounding more clear as if Sonic was right behind me, played 3 times as I looked at that text in shock and confusion. Then I got booted back to the main menu, and this time the third save file had a TV image of Robotnik in the same tormented state as Tails and Nuts. Robotnik's skin turned dull grey. His moustache drooped in and blackened. His glasses broke and blood is coming from them. And he had a near-dead expression, like near-dead-like expression on his face. I looked at Tails, Knuckles, and Robotnik, and cried.
No, it wasn't.
I regretted nothing, but I pitied them, the agony they were going through. They were forever trapped within, became forever tormented by their horrid hedgehog, and always will be. Then the computer shut itself off. I couldn't back on no matter what I did. I sat there for maybe 25 seconds. Again, my speculation was almost completely accurate. In fact, it was. Horrified by what had happened. Sonic is the very embodiment of evil. He tortures people who play his game in more ways than one, and then when he gets bored, he drags you into the game, literally drags you to hell, where he can play with you always as his toy. I can't get the game out of my computer. I think it's stuck in there, but at least I managed to turn it back on now. After I sat there for 25 seconds, I heard a voice right behind me, like a whisper. No way, freaking Pinker. And try to keep this in.
That's not the line,
dude. I turned around to see where the voice came from, and what I saw made me scream. Butt sauce. Sitting on my bed, staring right at me, was a Sonic plushie, smiling, with blood stains under its eyes. Whoa, ho, ho, in a Gata de Vida, baby.
It all started 53 years ago, back when I was a fully grown little boy. One day, while I was jumping through the street, I happened upon a large vehicle, which clobbered me violently into a nearby window. After getting my bearings, I looked up to see a young boy with a Game Boy Advance SP Blue Edition in his tiny little hands. I had always dreamed of owning a Game Boy Advance SP Blue Edition, but my family could barely even afford gold. He looked up with me with those big, vibrating eyes. His two lower teeth quivered in confusion. "Nah, nah, nah," he said softly. This was my chance. I ran at him screaming and stomping my feet, scrambling his brain in sheer confusion. I shoved him as hard as I could and grabbed the Game Boy Advance SP Blue Edition and ran out the door. I leaped back down the street towards my home. I pulled open the door by its big schmelly handle and let myself in quietly. I snuck past my many parents and shoved myself in my room. I had made it. Finally, a Game Boy Advance SP to call my very own. I will have to keep it hidden from my family. I shouldn't ever allow them to know. I took this Game Boy SP in my small, beautiful hands and proceeded to slide the switch to the on mode. I'll never forget the wonderful sound that it made the first time I had turned it on. And that wonderful Nintendo logo splashed my screen in sheer delight. I blew out my candle and I pulled my curtain shut tight. I wanted absolutely nothing to get in the way of my first Game Boy Advance SP Blue Edition experience. Suddenly, a small man appeared on the screen. Shortly after, the word Mario started flashing behind him. I assumed this was the man known as Mario, as I had seen adverts showing him on television. The title screen slowly lowered itself on the top of the screen. Super Mario and the Legend of the Stolen Game Boy Advance SP Blue Edition? My heart sank as I noticed a dead pixel in the lower left region of the screen. Beggars can't be choosers, I thought to myself. However, I had pressed the start button with my thingy. I pressed the start button with my thingy. A vast landscape of clouds, bushes, and bricks appeared before my very eye. There he was. The familiar Mario man I had grown to enjoy. I pushed left on the left button. Mario himself dashed to the left. Dust between his silly brown shoes filled the air. Amazed by his speed, I quickly pushed right to test his turning ability. I was not disappointed as Mario changed direction in a matter of seconds. I had learned the other button functions as I played. B allowed Mario to dash at high speed similar to my own. A allowed him to leap so high into the sky that I screamed in fear that perhaps he might not come back down. Yet he always did. Which engaged me in the game world even further. I quickly grasped the concept of jumping large gaps, avoiding enemies, and climbing a big flagpole at the end of each level. I got to the 4th level without much problem. I looked into a nearby mirror and smiled at myself with one eyebrow raised, and I said loudly, "Does this game not think I am good? I can handle anything it's thrown my way.
Just be like Devil.
I can do anything.
I can handle anything it throws my way. Suddenly, the screen turned black. And I don't just mean black. I mean so black, the screen looked like a big, deep hole. I said out loud, "Is that a hole I see before me?" And that echoed like a hole. I wiped a large chunk of sweat from my flopping brow. That was weird, I thought in a big bubble next to my head. The level loaded, but this time it took a lot longer. Mario stood in place, so I pushed right and began running. I noticed the graphics were getting all jumbly. Also, the music was becoming less like the Mario theme. Da 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 da, and more garbled like brr 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 brr. I was nearing the first gap on the stage to jump over. As I drew closer, I readied my sweating pink thumb over the A button. The gap was here! I pressed the button, but Mario didn't jump. He just screamed. Woo! I pushed left as far as I could as he grounded to a halt right at the edge of the gap. I pushed A frantically and repeatedly to try and make him jump, but he just kept screaming and screaming. The camera zoomed in on my face as I pummeled that A button, trying to make Mario fill the air above his body. But all that filled the air were my friend Mario's screams of fear. I said, "No more!" I pulled the cartridge from the Game Boy Advance SP and threw it out my window. It landed in some mud outside, and I laughed as I closed my window. I turned around. I saw the cartridge was back in my Game Boy! Mud oozed from its cartridge slot. I gasped as I said to myself, "No! It cannot be!" The Game Boy turned itself back on. Mario's face appeared with hyper-realistic skin pores and blood-chapped lips. He spoke softly. He spoke to me softly. "You stole me from my human. Now I, Mario of Nintendo of America Incorporated, curse you forever!" I screamed aloud, louder than an eagle of the night. "There must be some way to undo this curse!" I decided the only way to rid myself from this curse was to beat the game. I ran up to the first gap in the level. I pushed A and Mario just screamed, "Oh! Ah, fuck!" I fell into the hole and Mario lost a life. This is when I noticed my skin begin to rot and turn slightly green. What on earth is happening, Mario? I asked Mario. Every life you lose, I will make you rot. Ha 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 ha! I asked, how can I beat the game with only screams? I cannot jump gaps by screaming. Fuck you, Mario said quietly. I screamed, "Ah!" I decided not to beat the game in fear of me rotting. I decided that I was going to do the right thing. I ran out of my room, pushing my feeble mother out of the way in the hallway. I ran down the street to the boy's house, thunder bellowing and rain pitter-pattered on my crying face. Finally, I reached the house. I leaped up on the boy's window and let myself in. The room was dark. "Boy!" I cried out. "Boy, are you there?" I turned on the light switch. As the room lit up, I saw many people dressed in black. They all cried softly. "Who the flip are you people?" I asked, tears running down my chinny chin chin. "We are the boy's family," a woman replied. "I was his mother." She pointed to the center of the room, where a small white coffin was suspended over a hole. My heart sank. "Is your boy inside that box?" I asked with an eyebrow raised and a finger on my chin. "Yes! A crazed person broke into our home, ravaged our son, and stole his childhood by killing him." Everything went slow. I dropped to my knees. I held the Game Boy tightly in my clenched fist. "Would this be my fault?" I asked politely. His mother walked over to me with a big fat tear in her eye. She told me, "It really means a lot that a stranger would let himself into our home to pay respects to a boy he didn't know. I'm sure you two would have gotten along great." She pointed to the priest and said, "Please lower our child into the earth." No! The priest did just that. He pulled a lever with a big shiny ball on it. The coffin started going down. I shoved the mother out of the way and sprinted towards the coffin. I jumped on the coffin and the rope snapped. I began to fall into the earth with the child inside. I heard the screams from the family echoing above. I pried open the coffin as we fell and shoved the Game Boy into his tiny cold mouth. "Free me of this cursed child!" I screamed at the top of my head. I noticed that we weren't hitting the bottom, and that the darkness in the hole reminded me of the dark I saw in the Game Boy. Could this be what I saw before? From the darkness, a floating black and white head of Mario appeared and said to me, "In this hole you shall fall with the body of a dead child." And then he Gossane blurred away. "This is what I get for stealing, I guess," I said as I shrugged. Suddenly, Mario appeared again. He said, "Wow, it looks like you finally learned your lesson. Now be free. Bye-bye." He clicked his mustache, and I was back in my room. I looked over to my bed and saw the Game Boy Advance SP Blue Edition was gone. My mother opened the door and she said, "My son! My beautiful son! I make you eggs on toast!" And she threw it on my bed and left with a smile on her face. I realized maybe stealing not okay. I looked to the sky and said, "Thank you, Mario inside Game Boy." Everything would be alright, and though the child remained permanently dead, his mother could always play his Game Boy Advance SP Blue Edition to remember him by. Thanks to me.
Alright. Now let me do the punk thing and go.
Bro has the new disease.
It's not my fault that I have copious amounts of phlegm in my throat, Ox.
I can't help
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
And I just
yeah.
recovered from a cold too.
Hater, hater.
Yeah. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Excerpt from a local newspaper. Ominous unknown killer is still at large. Wait. Ominous unknown killer is still at large. I did not read that correctly.
And he's bullying me about my reading. Dumbass.
Yeah, we're gonna see that soon. After weeks of unexplained murders, the ominous unknown killer is still on the rise. After little evidence has been found, a young boy states that he survived one of the killer's attacks and barely tells the story. I had a bad dream and I woke up in the middle of the night, says the boy. I saw that for some reason the window was open, and I don't remember it being closed before I went to bed. I got up and shut it once more. Afterwards, I simply crawled under my covers and tried to get back to sleep. That's when I had a strange feeling, like someone was watching me. I looked up and nearly jumped out of my bed. There, in the little ray of light illuminating from between the curtains, were a pair of two eyes. These weren't regular eyes, they were dark, ominous eyes. They were bored, black, and just plain out terrified me. That's when I saw his mouth, a large, horrendous smile that made every hair on my body stand up. The figure stood there, watching me. Finally, after what it seemed like forever, he said it. A simple phrase, but said in a way only a madman could speak. He said, "Go to sleep." I let out a scream. That's what sent him at me. He pulled up a knife, aiming at my heart. He jumped on top of my bed. I fought him back. I kicked, I punched, I rolled around, tried to knock him off me. That's when my dad busted in. The man threw the knife, went into my dad's shoulder. The man probably would have finished him off if one of the neighbors hadn't alerted the police. He drove into the parking lot and went towards the door. The man turned and ran out the hallway. I heard a smash like glass breaking. As I came out of my room, I saw the window that was pointing towards the back of my house was broken. I looked out and see him vanish into the distance. I tell you one thing, I will never forget that face. Those cold, evil eyes and that psychotic smile. They will never leave my head. Police are still on the look for this man. If you see anyone that fits the description in this story, please contact your local police department. Okay, now it's time for his origin story. Now it's time for Jeff's sad emotional backstory. You're gonna cry from this. Even Shakespeare, he's crying in his coffin. Jeff and his family had just moved into a new neighborhood. His dad had gotten a promotion at work, and they thought it would be the best to live in one of those fancy neighborhoods. Jeff and his brother Lou couldn't complain though. A new, better house, what was not to love? As they were getting unpacked, one of their neighbors came by.
Hello,
She said,
I'm Barbara. I live across the street from you. Well, I just wanted to introduce myself and introduce my son.
She turns around and calls her son over.
Billy, it's our new neighbors.
Billy said hi and ran back to play in his yard. Well, said Jeff's mom, I'm Margaret. This is my husband Peter, my two sons, Jeff and Lou. They each introduced themselves, and then Barbara invited them to her son's birthday party. Jeff and his brother were about to object when their mother said that they would love to. When Jeff and his family are done packing, Jeff went up to his mom. Mom, why would you invite us to some kid's party? If you haven't noticed, I'm not some dumb kid. Jeff, said his mother, just moved here. We should show that we want to spend some time with our neighbors. Now we're gonna go into the party, and that's final. Jeff started to talk but stopped himself, knowing that he couldn't do anything. Whenever his mother said something, it was final. He walked up to his room and plopped down on his bed. He sat there looking at the ceiling when suddenly, he got a weird feeling. not so much a pain, but a weird feeling. He dismissed it as just some random feeling. He heard his mother calling down to get his stuff, and he walked down to get it. The next day, Jeff walked downstairs to get breakfast. He got ready for school. As he sat there, eating his breakfast, once again got that feeling. And now
I'm
for
really
what
feeling
it
it's
was.
nice ox.
This time it was stronger. It gave him a slight tugging pain, but he once again dismissed it. When he moved, like shit. Okay. As he and Lou finished breakfast, they walked down to the bus stop. They sat there waiting for the bus, and then all of a sudden, some kid on a skateboard jumped over them, only inches above their laps. They both jumped back in surprise. Hey, what the hell? The kid landed and turned back to them, kicked the skateboard up, and caught it with his hands. The kid seemed to be 12, 1 year younger than Jeff, wears an Aeropostale shirt and ripped blue jeans.
Well, looks like we got some new meat.
Suddenly, two other kids appeared. One was super skinny, and the other was huge.
Dude.
Well, since you're new here, I'd like to introduce ourselves. Over there is Keith.
Jeff and Lou looked over this skinny kid. He had a dopey face that you would expect a sidekick to have.
And he's Troy.
They looked over at the fat kid. Talk about a tub of lard. This kid looked like he hadn't exercised since he was crawling. Well, damn.
And I, said the first kid, am Randy. Now for all the kids in the neighborhood, there's a small price for bus fare if you catch my drift.
Lou stood up, ready to punch the lights out of the kid's eyes when one of his friends pulled a knife on him.
Tisk, tisk, tisk. I hope you wouldn't be more cooperative, but it seems we must be doing this the hard way.
The kid walked up to Lou and took his wallet out of his pocket. Jeff got that feeling again. Now it was truly strong. A burning sensation. He stood up, but Lou gestured him to sit down. Jeff ignored him and walked to the kid. Listen here, you little punk. Give back my bro's wallet or else. Randy put the wallet in his pocket and pulled out his own knife.
Oh, and what will you do?
Just as he finished the sentence, Jeff popped the kid in the nose. As Randy reached for his face, Jeff grabbed the kid's wrist and broke it. Randy screamed and Jeff grabbed the knife from his hand. Troy and Keith rushed Jeff, but Jeff was too quick. He threw Randy to the ground. Keith lashed out at him, but Jeff ducked and stabbed him in the arm. 13-year-old, by the way. Keith dropped his knife and fell to the ground screaming. Troy rushed him too, but Jeff didn't even need the knife. He just punched Troy straight in the stomach, and Troy went down. As he fell, he puked all over. Luke could do nothing but look in amazement at Jeff. Need water. I take a little sip.
Carry on, Ox.
Jeff, how'd you... That was all he said. They saw the bus coming and knew they'd be blamed for the whole thing. So they started running as fast as they could. As they ran, they looked back and saw the bus driver rushing over to Randy and the others. As Jeff and Lou made it to school, they didn't dare to tell what happened. All they did was sit and listen. Lou just thought it was his brother beating up a few kids, but Jeff knew it was more something scary. As he got that feeling, he felt how powerful it was, the urge to just hurt someone. He didn't like how it sounded, but he couldn't help feeling happy. He felt that strange feeling go away and stay away for the entire day of school. Even as he walked home due to the whole thing near the bus stop. Excuse me. And how I'm turning into punk now. And how now he probably wouldn't be taking the bus anymore. He felt happy. When he got home, his parents asked him how his day was, and he said in a somewhat ominous voice, "It was a wonderful day." Next morning, he heard a knock at his front door. He walked down to find two police officers at the door, his mother looking back at him with an angry look. "Jeff, these officers tell me that you attacked 3 kids, that it wasn't regular fighting and they were stabbed." "Stabbed, son?" Just glazed fell to the floor, showing his mother that it was true. "Mom, they were the ones who pulled the knives out on me and Lou." "Son," said one of the cops, "we found 3 kids, 2 stabbed, 1 having a bruise on his stomach. and we have witnesses proving that you fled the scene. Now, what does that tell us? Jeff knew it was no use. He could say him and Lou had been attacked, but then there was no proof. It was not them who attacked first. They couldn't say that they weren't fleeing, because truth be told, they were. So Jeff couldn't defend himself or Lou. Son, hold on your brother. Jeff couldn't do it, since it was him who beat up all those kids.
Sir, it was me. I was the one who beat up the kids. Lou tried to hold me back, but he couldn't stop me.
The cop looked at his partner and they both nod. Well, kid, looks like a year in juvie.
Oh my lord. Well, guess you're going to jail then.
You're going to jail, Jeff. Honestly, I think that's where the creepypasta should have ended. Just Jeff going to jail.
Literally.
Yeah.
That was just...
gross.
The end.
Yeah.
That's it.
Wait, says Lou. They all looked up to see him holding a knife. The officers pulled their guns and locked them on Lou.
It was me. I beat up those little punks.
Have the marks to prove it. He lifted up his sleeves to reveal cuts and bruises, as if he was in a struggle. Son, just put the knife down, said the officer. Lou held up the knife and dropped it to the ground. He put his hands up and walked over to the cops.
No, Lou, it was me. I did it.
Jeff had tears running down his face. Huh, poor bro, trying to take the blame for what he did. Well, take me away. The police led Lou out of the patrol car.
Lou, tell them it was me. Tell them. I was the one who beat up those kids.
Jeff's mother put her hands on his shoulders.
Jeff, please. You don't have to lie. We know it's Lou. You can get stopped.
Jeff watched helplessly as the cop car speeds off, with Lou inside. A few minutes later, Jeff's dad pulled into the driveway, seeing Jeff's face and knowing something was wrong.
Son, what is it?
Jeff couldn't answer. His vocal cords were strained from crying. Instead, Jeff's mother walked his father inside to break the bad news to him as Jeff wept in the driveway. After an hour or so, Jeff walked back into his house, seeing that his parents were both shocked, sad, and disappointed. He couldn't look at them. He couldn't see how they thought of Lou when it was his fault. He just went to sleep, trying to get the whole thing off his mind. 2 days went by with no word from Lou at JDC. No friends to hang out with, nothing but sadness and guilt. That is until Saturday, when Jeff is woke up by his mother with a happy sunshiny face.
Jeff, it's the day,
she said as she opened up the curtains and let light flow into his room.
What's today?
Asked Jeff as he stirs awake.
Why, it's Billy's birthday.
He was not fully awake.
Mom, you're joking, right? You don't expect me to go to some kid's party after...
There was a long pause.
Jeff, we both know what happened. I think this party could be the thing that brings up the past days. I get dressed.
Jeff's mother walked out of the room and downstairs to get ready herself. He found himself to get up. He picked out a random shirt and pair of jeans and walked down the stairs. He saw his mother and father all dressed up. His mother in a dress and his father in a suit. He thought, why would they even wear such fancy clothes to a kid's party?
Son, is that all you're going to wear?
Said Jeff's mom.
Better than wearing too much,
he said. His mother pushed down the feeling to yell at him and hit it with a smile.
Now, Jeff, we may be overdressed, but this is how you go if you want to make an impression.
Oh, that was his father. That was his mother.
Oh.
Damn it.
Yeah, his father is also.
Now, Jeff, we may be overdressed, but this is how you go if you want to make an impression,
said his father. Jeff grunted and went back to his room.
I don't have any fancy clothes,
he yelled downstairs.
Just pick something,
called his mother. He looked around in his closet for what he would... The fuck was that?
Sorry about that.
Demon.
I guess that means water break then for me. He found a pair of black dress pants he had for special occasions and an undershirt. He couldn't find a shirt to go with it though. He looked around and found only striped and patterned shirts, none of which go with dress pants. Finally found a white hoodie and put it on.
You're wearing that?
They both said. His mother looked at her watch.
Oh, no time to change. Let's just go,
she said as she herded Jeff and his father out of the door. They crossed the streets over to Barbara and Billy's house. They knocked on the door as it appeared that Barbara, just like his parents, were way overdressed. As they walked inside, all Jeff could see were adults, no kids. The kids are out in the yard, Jeff. How about you go and meet some of them? Said Barbara. Jeff walked outside to a yard full of kids. They were running around weird cowboy costumes and shooting each other with plastic guns. You might as well be standing in a Toys R Us. Remember Toys R Us?
Yep,
They go back.
certainly. I do.
Suddenly, a kid came up to him and handed him a toy gun. Hey, will you play? He said, no kid, I'm too old for this stuff. The kid looked at him with that weird puppy dog face. Please? Said the kid. Fine, said Jeff. He put on the hat and started pretending to shoot at the kids. At first, he thought it was totally ridiculous, but then he started to actually have fun. It might not have been super cool, but it was the first time he had done something that took his mind off Lou. So he played with the kids for a while, until he heard a noise, a weird rolling noise. Then it hit him. Randy, Troy, and Keith all jumped over the fence on their skateboards. Jeff dropped the fake gun and ripped off the hat. Randy looked at Jeff with a burning hatred. Hello, Jeff, is it? He said. We have some unfinished business. Jeff saw his bruised nose. I think we're even. I beat the crap out of you and got my brother sent to JDC. Randy got an angry look in his eye. Oh no, I don't go for even. I go for winning. We may have kicked our asses that one day, but not today. As he said that, Randy rushed at Jeff. They both fell to the ground. Randy punched Jeff in the nose, and Jeff grabbed him by his ears and headbutted him. Jeff pushed Randy off him, and both rose to their feet. Kids were screaming, and parents were running out of the house. Troy and Keith pulled out guns out of their pockets.
What the fuck?
Also, I need a background noise for all the kids and adults screaming, please. Thank you. No one interrupts or guts will fly, they said. Randy pulled out a knife when Jeff stabbed it into his shoulder. Jeff screamed and fell to his knees. Randy started kicking him in the face. After 3 kicks, Jeff grabs his foot and twists it. 13-year-old, by the way, causing Randy to fall to the ground. Jeff stood up and walked towards the back door. Troy grabbed him. Need some help? He picks Jeff up the back of the collar and throws him through the patio door. As Jeff tries to stand, he is kicked down to the ground. Randy repeatedly starts kicking Jeff until he starts to cough up blood. Come on, Jeff, fight me! He picks Jeff up and throws him to the kitchen. Randy sees a bottle of vodka on the counter and smashes the glass over Jeff's head. Fight! He throws Jeff into the living room. Come on, Jeff, look at me! Jeff glanced up, his riddled with blood. I was the one who got your brother sent to JDC, and now you're just gonna sit there and let him rot in there for a whole year. You should be ashamed. Jeff starts to get up. Oh, finally, you stand and fight. Jeff is now to his feet, blood and vodka on his face. Once again, he gets that strange feeling, the one in which he hasn't felt for a while. Finally, he's up, says Randy as he runs at Jeff. That's what happens. Something inside Jeff snaps, his psyche is destroyed, all rational thinking is gone, and all he can do is kill. He grabs Randy and power drives him to the ground. Again, 13-year-old. He gets on top of him and punches him straight in the heart. The punch causes Randy's heart to stop. As Randy gasps for breath, Jeff hammers down on him, punch after punch. Blood gushes from Randy's body until he takes one final breath and dies.
Bro.
I need water. I need water.
15, by the way.
Fuck. Everyone's looking at Jeff now. The parents, the crying
I see
kids.
this is another habit you're picking up from me. My god, my
Even
friends deserve riding you so badly.
Even Troy and Keith, although they easily break from their gaze and point their guns at Jeff, Jeff sees the guns trained on him and runs for the stairs. As he runs, Troy and Keith let out fire on him, each shot missing. Jeff runs up the stairs. He hears Troy and Keith follow up behind as they let out their final rounds of bullets. Jeff ducks into the bathroom. He grabs a towel rack and rips it off the wall. How can a 13-year-old rip off like a towel rack? You know?
Off the wall.
Yeah, aren't those like screwed into the wall?
Yeah. No, they're not.
Okay, so I could just say this right here. They're not really, like, bolted to the wall. They're being held by special screws, but yes, you can rip it off the wall. It's just gonna take a lot more force than you think it does.
Yeah, but it's a fucking 13-year-old, man. It's not fucking the Hulk, is it?
With enough pressure, even a 13-year-old can rip it off the fucking wall.
I can't.
Yeah. Troy and Keith race in, knives ready. Troy swings his knife at Jeff, who backs away and bangs the towel rack into Troy's face. Troy goes down hard, and now all that's left is Keith. He's more agile than Troy, though, and ducks when Jeff swings the towel rack. He dropped the knife and grabbed Jeff by the neck. He pushed him into the wall. A thing of bleach fell down. A thing of bleach fell down on the top of him from the top shelf. It burnt both of them, and they both started to scream. Jeff wiped his eyes as best as he could. He pulled back the towel rack and swung it straight into Keith's head. As he lays there, bleeding to death, he let out an ominous smile. "What's so funny?" asked Jeff. Keith pulled out a lighter and switched it on. "What's funny," he said, "is that you're covered in bleach and alcohol." Jeff's eyes widened as Keith threw the lighter at him. As soon as the flame made contact with him, the flames ignited the alcohol in the vodka. While the alcohol burned him, the bleach bleached his skin. That's not how bleach works.
Yes, it is.
We got a 5th person joining us, for our recording,
What?
by the way.
What are you talking about?
Where?
Someone has joined
Oops.
the void. They're on their way. Give it a minute.
Hello?
Just keep going.
Okay. Skin. Jeff let out a terrible screech as he caught on fire. He tried to roll out the fire, but it was no use. The alcohol had made him a walking inferno. He ran down the hole and fell down the stairs. Everyone started screaming as they saw Jeff, now a man on fire, drop to the ground, nearly dead. The last thing Jeff saw was his mother and the other parents trying to extinguish the flame. That's when he passed out. Oh, Minori.
Hey, you
Minori.
fuck-ass horse, we're over here!
What?
Hi, Minori. This late on training.
Yeah, no, we're still kind of recording our, April Fool's episode.
Hello, Minori!
Raining, bro. That fucking horse that I hate.
Yeah, no, Minori, we're recording our, we're on Ox's, Jeff the Killer story.
We just had my tale told.
Ah, okay.
Oh, Minori, you bitch. You bitch.
You're just pulling our legs, aren't
She
you?
came to troll me specifically because I was supposed to be there in the morning. I'll be there in the afternoon training, so I'll be there.
This is the only time I get to do stupid shit.
I hope you're having a splendid day, Minori.
Not coming.
No, you don't get to do that.
Great.
Murder him.
After recordings, I gotta explain some shit that kind of happened.
Or just...
And he's just putting off your training.
All right.
this
Hey,
is
quick, see you in
super
a week,
awkward.
but if you're listening,
Alright, back around the campfire, we're continuing the story.
Shadow just already told his story.
Oh, come on, get back to the campfire. Come on, get over here.
Alright. Oh, wait.
And then,
there goes Miku.
I hope you enjoyed the rest of your day. Thanks. Hope to see you again sometime soon.
Punk, they're joining us for the story. What's left of fucking Jeff the Killer.
I fucking forgot.
Wait, you can come sit with us. Wait, oh my god. What is happening?
Sorry,
Why
I
am
was
I
trapped
dancing?
in the future tense.
What the fuck? I just started hitting a jig.
Anyway,
Come back to the campfire.
you were at the part where fucking Jeff just gets burned. Oh my
Yeah, she
fucking
passed
god.
out.
Come on.
She's just a PNG.
No, she's the fucking she's the Kita-san Black SSR card that just goes, how did you take her?
Oh my god. When Jeff when Jeff woke up, he had a cast wrapped around his face. Couldn't see anything, but he felt the cast on his shoulder and stitches all over his body. He tried to stand up, but he realized that there was some tube in his arm, and that when he tried to get up, it fell out, and a nurse rushed in. I don't think you can get out of bed just yet, she said, and she put him back in his bed and reinserting the tube. Jeff sat there with no vision, no idea what was his surroundings. Finally, after hours, he heard his mother. Honey, are you okay? She asked. Jeff couldn't answer though. His face was covered and he was unable to speak. Oh, honey, I have great news. After all the witnesses told the police that Randy confessed of trying to attack you, they decided to let Lou go. This made Jeff almost bolt up, stopping halfway, remembering the tube coming out of his arm. He'll be out by tomorrow, and then you two will be able to be together again. Jeff's mother hugs Jeff and says her goodbyes. The next couple of weeks were those where Jeff was visited by his family. Then came the day where his bandages were to be removed. His family were all there to see it, what he would look like, as the doctors unwrapped the bandages from Jeff's face, and everyone was on the edge of their seats. They waited until the last bandage holding the cover of his face was almost removed. Let's hope for the best, said the doctor. He quickly pulled the cloth, letting the rest pull from Jeff's face. Jeff's mother screams at the sight of his face. Lou and Jeff's dad stare awestruck at his face. Ace, I need a scream from Jeff's mother. Thank you. What's wrong to what happened to my face? Jess said. He rushed out of the bed and ran to the bathroom. He looked in the mirror and saw the cause of the distress. His face, it's horrible. His lips were burned to a deep shade of red. His face was turned into a pure white color, and his hair singed from brown to black. He slowly put his hand to his face. He had a sort of leathery feel to it now. He looked back at his family, then back at the mirror. Jeff, said Lou, it's not that bad. Not that bad, said Jeff. It's perfect. His family were equally surprised. Jeff started laughing uncontrollably. His parents noticed that his left eye and hand were twitching. Jeff, are you okay? Okay? I've never felt more happy. Look at me. This face goes perfectly with me. He couldn't stop laughing, stroked his face, feeling it, looking at it in the mirror. What caused this? Well, you may recall that Jeff was fighting Randy, so I'm looking by this. The narrator interjects. I forgot that the narrator interjects. Just to break the fourth wall. Yeah, his sentence now he was left as a crazy killing machine that his parents didn't know. Doctor, said Jeff's mom, is my son alright, you know, in the head? Oh, in the head. Oh yes, this behavior is typical for patients that have taken very large amounts of painkillers. Ace, you're on painkillers. Can you validate this?
Oh, I thought you wanted me to make pain noises. Never mind.
No, we were asking you. No, we were asking.
what?
Is this true? Since you are technically on painkillers.
Wait, what was the question? I was focused on Minori, like, getting closer. Where the fuck did she go?
She just, she walked around here from the last time I saw her, from my vision. She's
Bro,
hiding in
is
the
she a
forest.
horror story? What happened?
She's a wild Nori. Wandering around.
Minori, not
No, there
EXE,
she
bro.
is.
Oh my
She
god!
fucking is. There she is.
This fuck ass horse.
Tiny Buena Vista.
Bueno.
Anyway,
I can't believe we have our own horror
Alright, what was
story.
the question? What was the question?
Okay, let me read this quote. Oh yes, this behavior is typical for patients that have taken very large amounts of painkillers.
Wait, what? Bro. Ah, yes, murder. Comes with the side effects, guys. Don't worry about it.
if his behavior doesn't change in a few weeks, bring him back here, and we'll give him a psychological test. Oh, thank you, doctor. Jeff's mother went over to Jeff. Jeff, sweetie, it's
Sounds
time
like
to go.
Jessica wants to shag the doctor.
What are you
Bro,
talking about?
She's married!
Only teasing.
Jeff looks away from the mirror, his face still formed into a crazy smile. Okay, mommy. His mother took him by the shoulder and took him to get his clothes. This is what came in, says the lady at the desk. Jeff's mom looked down to see the black dress pants and white hoodie her son wore. Now they were clean of blood and not stitched together. Jeff's mother led him to his room and made him put his clothes on. Then they left, not knowing that this was their final day of life. Dun dun dun! Later that night, Jeff's mother woke up to a sound coming from the bathroom. It sounded as if someone was crying. She slowly walked over to see what it was. When she looked into the bathroom, she saw a horrendous sight. Jeff had taken a knife and cut a smile into his cheeks. Jeff, what are you doing? Asked his mother. Jeff looked over to his mother. I couldn't keep smiling, Mommy. It hurts after a while. Now I can smile forever. Jeff's mother noticed his eyes ringed in black. Jeff, your eyes! His eyes were seemingly never closing. I couldn't see my face. I got tired, and my eyes started to close. I burnt out the eyelids so I could forever see myself, my new face. Jeff's mother slowly started to back away, seeing that her son was going insane. What's wrong, Mommy? Aren't I beautiful? Hey, yes, son, she said. Yes, you are. Let me go get Daddy so he can see your face. She ran into the room and shook Jeff's dad from his seat. Honey, get the gun.
The fucking tone change. It's okay, honey. You're so beautiful. Honey, get the gun.
Honey, oh my god!
Honey, get the fucking 12 gauge. Your son has lost it.
Psychotic son.
Our little Jeff has literally fucking cut his face open. I'm hitting the granny now.
Oh my god, I looked behind me and Minori was just
Oh, thank
there.
you, sweetheart. Now dispose of this fucking psychopath!
Kill our son right now!
She stopped as she saw Jeff in the doorway holding a knife. Mommy, you lied. That's the last thing they hear as Jeff rushes them with the knife, gutting both of them. His brother Lou woke up, startled by some noises. He didn't hear anything else, so he just shut his eyes and tried to go back to sleep. As he was on the border of slumber, he got the strangest feeling that someone was watching him. Looked up before Jeff's hand covered his mouth. He slowly raised the knife, ready to plunge it into Lou. Lou trashed here and there, trying to escape Jeff's grip. Shh, Jeff said.
Sounds like
Just
Kenny
go to
is about to
sleep.
get castrated.
Shh, Jeff said, "Just go to sleep." And that's the ending.
Nina Hopkins, age 11, and her younger brother, Chris, age 6, had recently transferred to a new school. It soon became clear that this young and impressionable girl, Nina Hopkins, had become a massive fan of the psychopath killer. Having read his origin story many times, he felt strangely attractive, admired him, felt a to kill. But while reading the if only someone could have the warning signs, maybe this could have been stopped. On the first day of school, Nina and her brother. You guys know that? Wait, I need to. You guys know one clip?
What?
This girl going,
What?
Nina, 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 and absolutely
No.
like raging because she couldn't win 1,000 euros. Okay,
I don't think that
okay,
I've-
I'm right. Okay, I'm chronically
Is
online,
it-
thanks, guys.
Is it just a Flemish meme that me, Ox, and Shadow aren't aware of?
No, it's English.
Well, knickers.
Every time I make a reference, you guys never get it. Never mind. Let me go back to my.
I'm sorry that I'm fucking old. Damn.
Yeah, I know, Unc. Jeez. Wait, where the fuck was I?
On the first day.
Sorry, I'm the unk here and don't understand anything past my own fucking
Yeah,
time.
shut your mouth, Uncle James. We're busy reading Ace's story.
Let me read. I need to focus on the words. Nina
Alright,
and
Peppa
her
Pig, calm
brother-
down.
Shut up, mate.
No need to pull a
Chris
hamstring.
had shut the hell up before I find you. Had found a quiet place. When they were greeted by 3 students who were the later identified as Claudia, Malcolm, and Tony. Claudia was a notorious bully and claimed that the area was their territory. Chris spoke up saying how ridiculous that was. They were all just trying to have a quiet lunch together. But Claudia didn't see it that way. Saw it as a test of her acted violently, lashing out at Chris, punched. At the sight of her little brother, she... Alright, okay. She pulled out a knife she had concealed. Where? Alright, sure.
She probably had it in her fucking
Prob-
sleeve. You know, Assassin's
Or
Creed
under-
style.
I have
like,
a little
for
trick
shirt.
up my sleeve.
Ah!
Touch him again, and I'll kill all of you. She threatened. Though her brother saw it as an impulse to defend her, felt something stronger, something like urge to kill. Afterward, found an anonymous not in her locker that she found an anonymous not in her locker.
Note. Note is the type.
An anonymous knot.
Oh.
Okay.
An
See the
anonymous
spelling
knot in
error.
her locker. Bro, did I write this secretly? What is this? I know what, but do not worry. I won't tell anyone. You're killed, but dangerous.
Dangerous.
I said that. Thank you. Time passed and no police were involved. Bro, she would not. Okay, it was at this thing when you heard sanity began to. Jesus Christ! I get what.
Now I understand why the
Slip
fuck they
away.
kept. Now I understand why they're saying this is a fucking Mary Sue story.
Is someone eating dinner?
Dinner. Hear ye, hear ye. I'm going to. One night, when her brother, Claudia, and
Mr. Conan.
what? What?
You're cutting out.
God damn it, bro! That's not me. That's
Probably
you.
because of the stream.
Right, wait. Okay. Maybe I'll find my. Shit, where was I? Oh yeah, the revenge. The revenge. They know how much Nina loved her little brother. So to get back at her, they took it out on him. They snatched him away from his home and beat him senseless. They
Why would he
then
beat up a 6-year-old?
Wait, he's 6?
Yeah, it literally said like at the beginning.
to take revenge
Yeah, Chris
on
was
the
6
girl
years
who
old.
threatened me. I will kidnap a child. Thank you. All right.
What?
Then they
That was
dumped.
taken very out of context.
No, they kidnapped the child, bro. They snatched him. Whatever. Fuck you. Then they dumped him out of their car and drove away. When Nina found her beaten and bloodied brother, she rushed him home and was then sent to the hospital. Nina then found mother and mom. I'm sorry about your brother. I hope for him to recover. Do not bars. Do not think you're alone. I am here. I'll be your friend. Fortunately distant. After Chris recovered from his injury, would soon return back. Just when it seemed like things were returning, well, they were jumped by Claudia and the gang. The gang. They weren't content with just beating Chris. Now it was Claudia and her set up punching and kicking. She fought back, but she was overwhelmed by the trio. Chris was screaming for help, but nobody was listening. In his desperation, just started chuckling anything he could at the bully, who tried to distract. The fuck chuckle? Managed to catch Claudia in the head with the rock, and this gave Nina the chance that he needed to escape.
You're still cutting out.
Bro, it's not me, it's you!
Nah.
Yeah.
James, how is it on your end?
It's someone.
Am I cutting out for
cutting
everyone?
But I am following along because I had the lock pit up.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know what to do about that. You made me lose my point again! Where was I?
She broke free from the group.
She broke free from the group. Claudia was momentarily stunned.
Momentary.
She turned to Chris. Look at you later, little shite. But first, we're gonna get your... Claudia spat in contempt and turned to follow his... Running into distance. Nina didn't have much to outrun others. They were older than her, and she was tired. If she didn't do something quick, they would soon catch her. Ahead, she found an abandoned house, but she stumbled into refuge. Claudia was close behind the other girl, railing with her back. Nina had to find something quick to defend herself. I don't want to share. She found a metal bar lying on the ground. It must have been left behind the house. Nina ran to the front entrance and made it quiet in the corner. She heard Claudia's footsteps as she entered the house. I'm here now, bitch. Can't hide forever. You may as well come out now, and I might take it easy on you. Ha! Just kidding. I'm going to make you wish you were dead. 3 steps, 2 steps away, 1 step away. Claudia was approaching the corner that Nina was hiding behind. Get out here, no! Was all she had time to say. Her sentence was cut short by the metal bar Nina swung viciously, into her face. Claudia crumpled to the ground, writhing in agony. Nina set upon her, beating her face in with the metal bar. With each stroke, she became more insane.
Stroke.
What?
You said stroke, not strike.
Potato, bro. With each strike, she became more insane. She began laughing as blood splattered everywhere. Claudia's face now just a crumpled mess of bread. It was at this moment Claudia's 2 cronies, Malcolm and Yogi, burst through the front door, stopped dead in their tracks, horrified by the sight before them. Nina just looked up and then smiled. Who's next? She asked excitedly. Then right after Nina returned home, she decided it was time for a makeover to match her newfound identity. She was sick of looking normal like everybody else, but she wasn't normal. She couldn't be further from it. The only person she could relate to was Jeff. She decided she would follow in his footsteps, began searching for bleach. As she was searching the cupboards in the kitchen, a figure appeared. Her eyes widened in disbelief. It couldn't be, but it was. Jeff was standing in front of her, smiling with that impossibly wide smile of his. He was holding a bottle of bleach, alcohol, and
this is so fucking awful. Even from a writer's standpoint, this shit sounds awful.
Absolute dog shit.
This sounds horrid.
He
Damn.
walked towards her. He poured it over her head, and she didn't complain.
Wait, let me
okay.
read Jeff.
Yeah.
This might hurt a little, but you're strong.
Sorry. He whispered in her ear before striking a match and setting her on fire, as you do, of course. Nina felt a warm happiness flutter through her as she screamed in agony until she blacked out. Nina awoke in a hospital. She raised her hands to her face, felt the band covering. She stumbled out of the bed to the closet mirror and began unwrapping bed. She was thrilled with the sight she saw. Her skin was white and leathered. Her hair that once reached her knee now charred black and only reached midway down to her back. She couldn't be more pleased with her makeover, but there was still something missing. She would fix that later. Began laughing as the nurse rushed in. It was late. Nina's mother was starting to get some sleep when she was awoken by the sound of laughter coming down the hallway. crept out of bed, stumbled towards the sound. Maybe it was Nina. She'd been acting strangely ever since the accident. The doctor said there could be some serious trauma. She was worried about me, so she thought she'd check on her just to make sure she was okay. Sure enough, there was light coming from under.
There was light on our typo.
There was light coming
was
from
light
under.
at the
Yeah,
end
I
of the
wrote this,
tunnel.
by the way. There was light.
In the
She-
darkness.
He softly knocked 3 times. Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. There was no answer, but the laughing stopped, so she gently creaked open the door and stepped inside. It took a few seconds for her eyes to adjust to the dim light in the room. Her breath caught in horror as she saw the scene in front of her. Nina was sitting on her bed with a sewing kit. She was stitching her eyelids open with dull thread. Her mouth had been cut into a gruesome, with the bloody knife lying next to her. What happened to Nina? Finished stitching her last eyelid open, lying. What do you mean? What happened to me? I'm finishing my makeup. Don't I look beautiful? Do you think I look beautiful, Mom? Nina! Why did you do this to your face? You don't think I look beautiful, do you, Bobby? Nina picked up the knife and stood up slowly. Her mother began to back out of the room, afraid to turn away. You should have just said I look beautiful, Nina said as she rushed her mother with the knife, plunging it into her heart. Her mother cried out one last breath before slumping to the floor in a pool of blood. Nina giggled insanely as she stepped over her mother's body and walked towards Chris's room. She gently opened the door and walked to his room. Blink row of the night light next to his bed illuminated his sleeping figure. Sat down on the bed next to him and lovingly stroked his hair from his forehead. Wake up, Chris. Mom! Eyes flickered open as she woke from his slumber. Nina? Yes, it's me. Do you want to start a new life with Chris? Yes, he nodded sleepily. Good. She plunged the knife into his chest. Go to sleep, my prince, was the last thing she said to him as he dragged his body outside.
Wow, that was the
That was
worst
some
piece of shit I ever
bullshit.
fucking heard.
That was some
This-
bullshit.
But anyway,
Creature.
happy April Fool's Day from the By the Way podcast, and we will see you all